Once again, a very good evening to all. And what an evening. What an August gathering of this August gathering it is. Amazing. Welcome aboard for the long drive, driving forward. Well, for the best utilization of time, let us start right away. May I request you, all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to stand up for Karnataka state anthem. Santosh, please.
Jai Bharat Jananiya Tanujate, Jaya He Karnataka Mate, Jaya Sundara Nadi Vanagala Nade, Jaya He Rasa Rushi Gana Devi. Bharat Jananiya Tanujate, Jaya He Karnataka Mate, Shankara Ramanuja Vidyaranya Basaveshwara Mantra Divyaranya, Kanna Sharakshari
Thank you all. Kindly take your seats. May I now request the General Secretary of IVPI, Dr. Harsha Kumar Shetty, to extend a warm welcome to all the guests and then invite the President, Professor Devagowda, for outlining the program details. Please, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Namaskar. In my capacity as General Secretary of IVPI, I take the privilege of welcoming all the invitees to today's program on behalf of all the members, current and past office bearers of IVPI. On 6th May of this year, on the occasion of celebrating World Veterinary Day, we chose a theme as alternate source of protein because the scarcity of major source of crude protein for poultry feed was looming large as a threat at that time. Today, we selected the theme Indian poultry driving forward. In the current situation of prohibitively high input cost, especially of the feed, which makes about 70 to 80% of all the input costs, improving production efficiency looks like the only way out to reduce cost of production. That could be achieved through two ways. One is improving manpower efficiency, and the second one is adopting technologies which are available. Therefore, today's presentation would focus on that point. In today's this event, we have got 5 speakers with us. We wish to welcome all the 5 speakers. To begin with, Sri Naveen Pasuparthi, Dr. C.R. Behel, Dr. Susil Silva, Sri Singaraj, and Dr. Sanjay Gaukare. We also extend warm welcome to 15 large-hearted sponsors of this evening event. Sri M.R.A. Magdum, Sri Manjesh Kumar Jadhav, Dr. Baburaj and their colleagues from VH Group, Sri Niti Patel and his colleagues from Himalaya Drugs, Sri Neeraj Srivastava and his colleagues from Novus, Sri Jason John and his colleagues from USEC, Sri Nanjaya and his colleagues from Varsha Biotech, Sri Mahesh and his colleagues from My Chicken and More, Sri Trinath Reddy and his colleagues from STR Poultry Group, Dr. Suresh and his colleagues from Kemin, Dr. Vijay Makija and his colleagues from MSD Animal Health, Sri Abhilash and his colleagues from ZS Biotech, Dr. Saikat and his colleagues from Evonik, Dr. Deepak and his colleagues from DSM, Sri Anurag Agarwal and his colleagues from Natural Remedies, Dr. Pandey and his colleagues from Lalama, and Sri Satish and his colleague from Boehringer Ingelheim. We have been so lucky that whenever we want to have our events, whenever we approach for people to, or the companies or large-hearted people to sponsor the programs, we get always an overwhelming response from everyone. So we are so lucky in that. We definitely, there is a special welcome to all of those, maybe for today's program or our previous program or from the upcoming programs. All those patterns definitely have a big space in our heart. We are also happy to welcome Dr. R.N.S. Gowda, founder, Vice Chancellor of our Veterinary University in Karnataka. Then Captain Dr. Rajendra, an IAS officer who is currently serving as a Registrar of Cooperatives, Societies of Karnataka State, who is an alumnus of our college. He is also here. I extend a warm welcome to him. Then Dr. Mahesh, Director of CPDO. Then officers from Department of Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Service. Dr. Ajit Ranade, President, Indian Poultry Association and Dean, Bombay Veterinary College. Dr. Chin, who came all the way from Singapore. We extend warm welcome to all these people. Further, we wish to welcome members and present and past office bearers of Karnataka Poultry Farmers and Breeders Association, all the broiler and the layer farmers, feed millers from Karnataka and the neighboring states, faculty members and senior PG students of Karnataka Veterinary University, members and office bearers of veterinary or poultry associations from neighboring states, then all the managing directors, CEOs and senior executives along with their colleagues from various animal health, pharmaceutical and vaccine companies. Finally, we extend our hearty welcome to all the distinguished invitees and the attendees. Wish you all an evening full of information flow from our guest speakers and hearty discussion and fellowship. With this, I request President Professor Deve Gowda to give opening remarks and introduce today's program to the audience. Thank you.
This taking forward the Indian poultry production more in a sustainable way of production. That is what we are looking. That is why today we have identified application of solar energy in poultry production as compared to the conventional energy, and also environmental control housing to minimize the pollution, to improve the biosecurity, especially bird flu and so on, and early vaccination, day-old vaccination, hatchery vaccination, instead of vaccinating at the growing stage where there is a handling and so on. And the most challenging is the marketing of eggs and chicken meat. It is a very challenging. One is, as Dr. Ashok Kumar Sethi mentioned, the feed prices The second would be the marketing of chicken eggs and chicken meat. That is what our Thiru Singraj will be speaking. And this slide taken from Krushi Mela, Farmers Mela, at University of Agricultural Sciences, GKVK, Bangalore. Every year we provide eggs free of cost. 30,000 eggs were provided. I took the help from NACC as well as layer farmers. We served the eggs at the lunch time. Everybody enjoyed the eggs. I keep on watching several batches. Dr. Shankar is here. Dr. Krishnamurthy is here. We were observing. Nobody left the eggs. Everybody was consuming. That shows people like eggs. Its nutritional value. And you know how many people visited that Krishi Mela? 25 to 30 lakhs of people visited that Krishi Mela. Every year we conduct it. This year in the month of November, first week, again we are organizing. I request all of you, KPFBA, IVPA and all the members, please visit. We make a beautiful charts educating the public, educating the consumers with respect to the health and nutritional benefit of eggs and chicken meat. The farmers, how they manage the poultry farm, how hygienically they maintain. Look at some of the pictures which we have taken on the first day. The second day and all, huge crowd, even we cannot step in. Huge crowd. Lakhs of farmers will be visiting. You know, this is what is educating with respect to consumption of eggs and chicken. Not by seminar, not by some advertisement. This is the real practical. Dr. Ashok Kumar Shetty was there. Our Manjesh Kumar Jadhav was there. Magdum sir was there. This is what is required. Mass scale, lakhs together. That is where we have to promote. Promote the consumption of eggs, promote the consumption of chicken. Automatically our consumption of eggs, instead of 90, it becomes much more. Chicken meat also, instead of 6 kilo, it becomes much more. Here, these slides, some of them I have taken from VIP. Ajay Deshpande, the president, is right here, Vets in Poultry. They also popularized the consumption of chicken meat and eggs. Here, the malnutrition, all of you know, is very common in our country. Very, very common in our country. In the ranking in the world, we stand somewhere in the 130, 140th rank. That is what it is. So that is where the providing the eggs and chicken meat along with the vegetarian food is very, very important for our people to improve the health and nutritional status. That is what we have to educate. We have to educate. Consumption is very, very low in our country. We have to educate. And coming to this one, our leader, the father of the poultry industry, Padma Shri Dr. B.V. Rao, what he used to say about 40 years back, I know very well. I used to attend so many programs of our Padma Shri Dr. B.V. Rao. He used to say, my egg, my price. That means realize the price of eggs, what you produce. Minimize the trade. Try to market yourself. That is what Singaraj also is telling. Try to market. That is what our Guru, Padma Shri Dr. B.V. Rao, he said. And our Honorable Madam Anuradha Desai also recommends in the same direction. Whenever there is a surplus production of eggs, try to store in the cold storage and release when there is a demand. And market the broiler chicken somewhere around 2.5, 2.3, 2.4 kilo instead of waiting up to 3 kilogram. This is very, very important. Dr. Suresh Babu tells, our Ashok Kumar sir, they also tell about this. Don't wait till 3 kilograms, especially in Maharashtra. I am sure Dr. Ajay Deshpande is right here, Ajit Ranade is here. They will go for bigger birds because of the traders. So that will hurt the tenderness, it will hurt the production, overproduction. And coming to this one, consumption of chicken as well as eggs. If you look at in the metropolitan cities versus rural area, if you look at the consumption of chicken meat in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Bombay, somewhere in the range of 20 kilogram. Fantastic. On the other hand, if you go to the rural side, it's only 2 to 3 kilogram. So our main emphasis is to educate or provide the chicken at the rural level. Of course, one is transportation, one is other technological input, extremely important. Consumption in the tier 3 cities is very, very important. That is where we can increase the consumption. Otherwise, if you look at in urban area, look at the egg consumption is close to 200 eggs per year per person in the metropolitan cities. If you go to the rural, the tier 3 cities, it is only 15 to 20 eggs. Huge difference. So there is a scope for improvement in the tier 3 cities, tier 2 cities also. There is a tremendous scope. That is where we have to focus in order to improve the marketing. Then coming to the egg marketing potential, of course we have different approaches. One is we export. What we export is very less. This we have to push. Export we have to push more. I am sure Singraj will be talking on that. What we export is only about 4 days of production. Every day we produce about 30 crore eggs. 4 days means 120 crores eggs. That's all we export per year. And the egg powder, what we manufacture egg powder, what we export the egg powder is about 6 days production. 30 into 6, about 200 crores of eggs. And remaining midday meal program, various, especially Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, so on, West Bengal, Orissa, all put together it comes to about 40 days of production, that's all. So totally 40 plus 10, 50 days production. Remaining 10 days of production, we have to look at the market. That is where tier 3 cities is extremely important. Targeted tier 3, tier 2 cities is extremely important. We are producing close to 120 billion eggs, including the desi chicken eggs, improved varieties, and so on. Our consumption is 90 eggs overall. This is where we have to improve. Like in Japan, it is 330. So, and those people are so healthy, absolutely great and healthy. Then coming to the gradually increase the processing of chicken instead of going for the wet processing. At least to begin with in the metropolitan cities. In the metropolitan cities it leads to pollution and so many problems. That is why minimize at least to begin with metropolitan cities. In the rural side may be challenging, may be difficult. To begin with, already there is a change, some more change is required. I think that is where our traders, our producers focus more on that, going for processing instead of the wet chicken. That is where the consumers like it. Consumers always like a clean, hygienic, that is what they like it. And coming to this broiler market, I think this should be best person to explain is this our Sri Ashok Kumar of My Integrators. We have to listen to him. One day we have to give entire topic on this slide. I had an opportunity to speak to him. Just I will give one example. 1 week back, the cost of production of broiler chicken is 100 rupees. Market price is 60 rupees. That means for every kilo we lose 40 rupees. Per bird we lose 80 rupees. What he says is instead of losing 80 rupees, he destroy the hatching egg. Destroy the hatching egg. What is the cost of hatching egg? 25 rupees. That is more economical than rearing the chicken and selling at 60 rupees. Like this, he has given many examples. And seasonal consumption, cultural consumption. Of course, you have to listen to Ashok Kumar for if you want to detail. Fantastic knowledge he is having regarding the economics of broiler production, how to market, and so on. So just one example I have given. Then in the print media as well as in the television media, so much people keep on writing. Recently by a professor from National Institute of mental health and neurosciences, he wrote against consumption of chicken. And we scientists from the IVPI, KPFB, we strongly repeated that one. We strongly, you can see, read it here. We made a very scientific approach, and it is published in not only English newspapers, so many Kannada newspapers, widely circulated, widely published. That is what is required. Even our Honorable Padma Shri Dr. B.M. Hegde also written. I wrote to him, but no reply. Several letters, no reply at all. So this is sometimes our Ashok Kumar sir also requested about this. So no reply, but anyway, you'll keep on trying, and we have to be proactive. Scientific approach. What we are telling is true. We are not telling something wrong. What we are telling, that is what it is required. Similarly, one more newspaper, it has appeared. Yeah, Education World, one more. The veterinarians, they call it NEP, National Education Policy Paper. They make a policy. This is in Karnataka with respect to the midday meal program and so on. Again, the veterinarians, IVPA, KPFBA, and all, they strongly wrote a letter to the professor. So far, professor has not replied. We are waiting for the reply. Similarly, even other organizations also, like for example, Fresh to Home, we made a very good reply. They also actually apologized for us. Dr. Ashok Kumar Shetty, Gopal Reddy, we all met them and so on. This is coming to the how to make chicken as fish. It is much easy also. Silkworm people, last seminar we were talking, it is very rich in omega fatty acid. Fish oil rich in omega fatty acid. Algae is rich in omega fatty acid. Included them in the feed, our chicken becomes very rich in omega fatty acid, which is good for the brain health, good for education, good for heart health, good for overall health of a person. This is what we call value addition. Value addition, we are very poor still in the value addition. Egg value addition, for example, Satyanarayan Reddy has come from Andhra, he is doing egg value addition, but that is not enough. We have to go as high as 50% value addition to increase the what we call demand. Just going as a commodity, selling as a commodity, it will not help much. We have to value addition, branding. And finally, I will come to as Dr. Ashok Kumar Shetty mentioned, these are all the companies who are supported just by a word. They all supported. That shows what a great affection, what a great support to the IVPI, to the farming community of the country. That is what it shows. All our sponsors, just by a phone call, nothing else. We could have got much more, but this is enough for us. So I thanks once again for all the sponsors, all the participants who have come to this program. Thank you very much.
The program open. Today we had a program of felicitating Shri Ranjit Reddy Garu, Dr. Ranjit Reddy Garu, Honorable Member of Parliament and a progressive farmer and entrepreneur too. However, due to unavoidable circumstances, he has expressed his inability to come and attend the program. The President and the Executive Committee of the IVPI hereby announces the accordance of this honor to Shri Ranjit Reddy Garu, which will be presented to him at a later date at his convenience. Now, we would be having the much awaited presentations. I am given the task of introducing the speakers, but looking at their profiles, it is very difficult because each biodata runs into 3 or 4 pages with so much of achievements, the creators of history. So, I will be cutting short the introduction to 2 to 3 sentences each. Please forgive. Also, to fit in the entire program within the stipulated time, I am forced, against my wish, to set the time limits for each presentation. Due respect and apologies, sir. Now, for the first presentation of today's theme, I invite Mr. Naveen Pasuparthi. May I request you on the dais, sir? Please, sir. And I request Professor Ajit Ranade, sir, to honor Mr. Naveen Pasuparthi with a bouquet. Dr. Tejasvi, please.
Sir, you are a very senior person. You should not say.
Mr. Naveen, with an Indian Commerce degree and a US MBA, held various positions in the US in business communication services between 1992 and 1996, before moving to India and joining hands with Mr. Nandakumar, sir, in Komarla Group, now known as Nanda Group, as Joint Managing Director. He has been commanding 2 ships, the Nanda Group, a poultry major company, and Intra-Spatial Softtech Private Limited, an Indo-US venture in satellite imaging and geoinformation systems. And he is the co-founder of Nandu's, which is an omni-channel fresh meat and meat product retailer, both ready to cook and ready to eat, promoting chicken, fish, and mutton products. With 55 outlets in operation and much more planned, Mr. Pasuparthi has also been instrumental in setting up Nanda Group's overseas operations with joint ventures in Abu Dhabi, Nigeria, and Oman. I now call upon Mr. Naveen Pasuparthi to make his presentation on solar energy in poultry production, practices, and challenges. Sir, the mic is yours for 15 minutes.
Sure. Evening to everybody. I'm sorry for the organizers if I ran a little bit late today. I apologize. Evening to all my friends, colleagues in the industry. Wish you all a happy weekend and a long one too. So we'll get started with my presentation. So I had a call from Dr. Devegoda. He said, can you talk about poultry, use of solar technology in poultry? We in Nanda Group go back almost about 11 years when we started putting solar. And they said it's just not financially feasible. I said, we're not going to look at financial feasibility issue at all. We want to go renewable energy, and that's how we got started with this journey. We've come about 8-9 years now. How do I switch? So I thought I'll run you through a little bit of a video of about 2 minutes. So that gives you all the installations we have, inventory of the installations we have in the group. This is the installations we have in the group as of today. We're going to fast track the installations in the years to come. We're going to use a lot more solar in feed plant productions, water heating systems, preheat the water before it goes into the boiler so you can use less amount of firewood and briquettes to get into steam. So I'm going to explain to you what is grid and off-grid, battery, online, offline, everything. Doctor said, why don't you, I want a practical example of usage of solar and what the saving of electricity in terms of rupees and paisa, right? So we took a case study. We're using a fully solar plant in Tanang, which is Maharashtra. It's a 5-ton per hour mash feed plant. Only plant is used only for our breeders. So prior to solar in the calendar year 2018, the number of tons we produced, number of Maharashtra electricity bill units, cost per ton was about 80 rupees on the mash plant. And then when we went fully solar, then we produced a lot more tonnage in calendar year 2021, and then we dropped down to 40 rupees, 44 rupees a ton. So this is a case study we have. I can give you a lot more case studies. Since the paucity of time of 15 minutes, I've taken one location as a case study. But there's massive reduction in the OPEX, monthly electricity bill. We've got two different types of solar system. One is we've got off-grid and on-grid. If you go on-grid, you can actually produce electricity, feed it in grid in the sense it's a utility company. It can be BESCOM, it can be MSCB, it can be TNEB, Kerala Electricity Board. That's called the grid. So if you produce electricity during the daytime when you have radiation, you feed it into the grid, it's online, and you get into net metering, so you don't have to use a battery bank. And if you're looking at around on-grid without battery, you're looking at a cost of investment of about 50 to 52, 53,000 per kWh, approximately. And if you do off-grid, what is off-grid? You produce electricity and you store it in the battery. So off-grid, you need battery banks, massive amount of battery banks. I think 2 of our locations have got battery banks. And if you go off-grid with battery bank, you're looking at around 90,000 to 110,000 rupees per kWh. The million-dollar question for all the business people here is, can I take my money out in 2 years, 3 years? The answer is no. You cannot take your money out in 2-3 years. You're looking at a return on your investment of 6 years. And if you're going to go on-grid, and if you're going to go off-grid, you're looking at an investment return is about 8 to 9 years. But remember, this massive amount of technology change in the cell photovoltaic system which is happening. Power storage systems are changing, so those numbers are going to change as the time goes by. So please watch this vertical. Please watch this vertical. Your ROI on-grid and off-grid may come down in the next 3 to 4 years' time, but at least about 30% it will come down. Grid power versus solar power, which I've explained, looking at around 25 to 30% savage in your electricity bill month on month as an OPEX operation. Importance of solar, basically, all of us know what it is. One of the very important points which I do want to share here is all the utility companies in India is almost bankrupt. MSCB is bankrupt, BESCOM is bankrupt, KB is bankrupt, TNEB is bankrupt, Kerala Electricity Board is bankrupt. Why I'm bringing that issue is every year they're going to increase your tariff. Every year they're going to increase their tariff because they're all utility companies run by the state government. The state government has an objective of creating jobs, not running a profitable organization. So the utility companies will have a bad financial condition leading to continuous cost increase. If you have a HT line in your factory, you've got a line minimum charge, which is about 290, 300 rupees per kW. So many of our feed plants will be at 650, 1100, 1400 kW. So you're looking at almost about fixed charge also going up. We saw in Maharashtra it was 12,000 per kWh. It went to 26,000 per kWh as the line minimum charge last year. So your return on investment will change. It'll come down. It'll yield your return faster. Importance of solar. All our aqua, dairy and poultry companies have got real estate. Please use it. We don't know the real estate is on top of your houses. Please use that, and it's massive amount of real estate. If you want to use the real estate on top of your house, when you build the house, please calculate the load of the panel on the house. So your conceptualization itself, it has to come. The solar has to become a part of your project design phase itself, so that your trusses, your beams, everything is loaded. Accelerated depreciation, as per the income tax, you get 40% depreciation. You make profits that year, you charge off 40% without paying. The income tax that you save, you're creating an asset for your organization. And after 7-6 years, electricity that produces is free of cost for you. Safety, okay, there's a lot of automation going on in poultry. A lot of automation. Your feed lines are getting automated, your silos are getting automated, your houses are getting automated. What does it mean? All this automation has got printed circuit boards, ICs, and chips. And if you have a grid connected power, they will change the RYB in a different phase. You must have experienced it. The voltage fluctuations are high. So when you have a voltage stabilizer to the entire campus with a solar, you're cleaning up the electricity before it gets into your campus. So your life of your equipment increases and your operational cost drops. I mean, your tube lights don't fuse out, your electronic systems don't fuse out. So you just don't look at the ROI investment of solar. You've got to look at the whole picture. Your maintenance cost comes down. Very low replacement cost. Clean energy, and you have to be a lot more responsible operator in the society. Practices in solar. Okay, some of us will say, I'm not going to put up this 50,000, 100,000 rupees from KWH. There are OPEX models. There are people in the industry where you give the land to them. They will install the entire solar system. They will produce a solar in your property and sell it to you. Meaning you're not putting capital investment. You can give your chicken house roof or the land that you have in a feed plant or the poultry. So if you can OPEX versus CAPEX. We have gone all CAPEX. Now we are looking at OPEX. Somebody will invest in your property. They will produce electricity. Your electricity cost is about 7 rupees 50 paisa, 7 rupees 60 paisa today on the public utility grid. And if you produce on solar, it should be they will probably sell you to you between 6 to 650. So you at least save about a rupee and 2 to 250 per unit. So you don't want to invest, you can go OPEX. Ground mounting, you've got a lot of land in your poultry and feed plants. You can mount the entire solar panels on the ground, or you can use your real estate. Preheating of water. This is something that we have done and we are planning to do, working out the number. We all generate steam for our pellet plants. For generating steam, you take the water in, you either fire diesel or briquettes or wood. Now, if you run the water through a solar heating system, you take the water from this level to this level, and then you heat it up here. So the quantity of the fuel you need to generate the steam is much less. Your OPEX will drop. So see, what I realized is, in poultry, on the egg and the chicken, you have no control on price. You have no control on price. What is it that we can control? Our cost. The only thing we can control and make money in our business is bring the cost down and down and down. That's the only thing. So that's what we thought. We'll preheat the water before it gets into the boiler, and the quantity of firewood that you need to take it up to the steam level is much lesser. Even if I save 15, 20, 30 rupees per ton on steam generation, if you're doing 8,000 tons every month, it just multiplies. This is something I wanted to share. Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund. There's a lot of push in the government by Delhi in adopting solar energy. If you apply for AHIDF, just the solar plant, you will not get any benefit. But when you're doing a feed plant, when you're doing a chicken farm, or you're doing a hatchery, you make the solar as one of the line items in your project proposal, and then the whole project gets approved and the solar also gets approved. So think about how you can package it to get the government benefits. Extremely important in solar system, if you have the battery, you have to maintain the batteries. If you have the panels, you have to clean the panels once every 3 months. The problem we faced is we failed in our company to maintain the panels. When you don't maintain the panels over 6 months, your solar, the electricity generation ability drops, massively drops. Then the people, you're running around yelling at people, and they say, sir, are we in the chicken business or are we in the solar electricity generating business? The answer is, we're in the chicken business. Then we said, look, if you want to maintain the entire solar system, we'll go and give an AMC, annual maintenance contract, to a solar company who will come and maintain it once a quarter. So we brought that, and we are monitoring the solar plant unit generation. It never drops. This is something, as a practice, we have adopted in our solar. Challenges in solar. Okay, oversizing of the plant. Everybody feels the solar cost is very high. This is a mistake we've done a couple of times. We assume everything running at the same time, which is not true. So when you're running lights, you run lights only in the evenings. You don't run in the mornings. When you're running the feeding lines, you're running it for 2 to 3 hours a day. So be very, very, very careful of making sure you don't oversize the solar plant. If you oversize the solar plant, your cost will go up. When the cost goes up, you're producing more electricity. And then you feed it into the grid, you only get 3 rupees 70 paisa. And when you pull it from the grid, you're paying 7 rupees 50 paisa. So it doesn't make sense for you to have a large solar plant, produce more, sell at a lower cost, and buy at a higher price, right? High initial investment is a challenge. Lack of knowledge of government support schemes, as I said. How do you package the solar as one of the component? Negative perception of people and companies. You know, even your pellet plant, when the power shuts down on the utility, the pellet plant jams. When the pellet mill jams, you take at least about an hour and a half, you know, to clean up your downtime. Only for the pellet mill, you look at solar. You put a solar for the pellet mill for 15 minutes, your plant is not going to shut down. In 15 to 20 minutes, your generator comes on. Your plant is running 8 hours without a breakdown. Without a breakdown. And your capacity utilization, if the plant is rated at 10, you will at least reach 9.2 tons, 8.9 tons an hour. Periodic maintenance never is done by the companies. They just put solar plant and they say, kelsa madala, the units kadme barta hai. Come on, guys, you need to maintain it. During the conversation with Dr. Devegoda, I had some inputs from Lifeline and Padmavati. I would like to thank both these organizations for giving their experience of using solar. They have also used solar with us, like us, and I have added their inputs in the presentation. Thank you to both the organizations.
You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Business is not just about money, guys. Money is important. Each one of us sitting here have children. Many of us have got grandkids. Leave a world where they will not curse you. Leave a world where they will not curse you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Naveen sir, for the enchanting presentation. Now, moving over to the second presentation, I invite Dr. Bahal for a brief discourse on EC housing, Indian perspective. Sir, please welcome to the dais. And I request Ms. Neti Patel. Sir, please come and honor Dr. Bahal with a bouquet. Dr. Pooja, please. Dr. Chittaranjan Ramesh Bahal is a veterinarian with specialization in animal nutrition and having over 38 years of experience at key operational positions in Godrej, Venki, Suguna, and more. His expertise in identifying the needs and opportunities, designing competent strategies, and implementing them to their logical conclusion have earned him a name, the man who makes the difference. We now request Dr. Bahal to give the audience his views and recommendations on EC housing. Over to you, sir, for a maximum of 15 to 20 minutes.
So this is forward?
Yeah, that is for
forward
pointing. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you need this one.
I have.
It's already there. Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And I'm privileged to be here, and I thank Professor Devigowda, IVPI, to give me this task of speaking on EC housing. And I feel it is very crucial. I will be speaking on commercial broiler EC housing, India perspective. And we all know that I'm going to run through my presentation because it has got 25 slides, and most of the things contained, most of the people will be aware of. And in the final slides, I will compare between open side houses and EC houses, so we can know the cost benefits of it. So my contents will be on need for environmental controlled house, fundamentals of hot weather ventilation, concept of environment house, and benefits of environment control house over open housing. What is the need of environmental control housing? All breeds are high yielding and fast growing, which means faster metabolism, more heat production, more moisture loss, more oxygen requirement, improving air quality within the broiler house by removing the contaminants such as dust, ammonia, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxides, to regulate heat stress index number below 150 and reducing the sensible and insensible heat losses, to provide thermal comfort zone and better utilization of feed for maintenance, growth, and weight gains. When should we go for EC house? Extreme climate conditions, high fluctuations in day and night temperatures, very hot summer, very cold winter, insufficient natural ventilation, high humidity, land space restrictions. Electricity is a must to go for EC housing. There are three most important house fundamentals for hot weather ventilation. Number one is we must remove the heat from the house. For removing the heat from the house, we need the airspeed to bring wind chill effect. The second is we must remove the heat from the house. So we should have the correct air exchange capacity. We must decrease the incoming air temperature. So we have to maintain the correct incoming temperature. These are three basic fundamentals of EC housing. How much heat is produced from the birds and the house? 80% of the heat is produced by birds, and 20% is through external ambient temperature from ceiling, side curtains, and side walls. How much BTUs of heat is produced by a broiler? In the chick stage, it produces almost 66 BTUs, and for 2 kg broiler, it produces around 30 BTUs. The high feed intake of 18% of body weight will produce more BTUs, and lower feed intake at the later stage will make 30 BTUs. Energy utilization and metabolic heat loss by broiler. Broiler consumes almost 264 calories per kg of body weight versus human consumption 25 to 30 calories, which is almost 8 to 10 times. How does a broiler use this energy? Roughly 25% of the energy is used for the basic functions, and 75% of the energy is given off as metabolic heat. And this, out of this 75%, 40 to 50% is released in the surrounding air, and 50 to 60% is lost through your evaporation through respiratory systems. How much metabolic heat is lost from the birds in a house? If we take a sensible heat production of 2 kg broiler in a house with 12 to 15 BTUs per kg per hour, and for a shed which has got a length of 100 meter and width of 10 meter and 14,000 birds approximately, will generate 3,37,920 BTUs in a house. How much heat is removed from the house? If we take an ambient temperature of 42 degrees Celsius and the attic temperature will be around 10 to 20 degree more, which will be around 58 degrees Celsius, and with shed temperature of 28 or desired temperature of 28 degrees Celsius, if we look at flat plastic drop ceiling with R value 3, we can see it is around 1,88,000. And if you add sensible heat from bird and the heat loss from the house, both put together will be approximately around 5,23,000. Now, when we put the thermal with aluminium with R value of 7, this is reduced by 57%. When we use rock wool, it is reduced to by 67%. When we use sandwich panel, it is reduced by 70%. So you can see that almost 80% of the heat which is generated in the house is mainly because of the bird. Decreasing incoming air temperature. This is the third fundamental point. Evaporative cooling or EC housing works on the principle of latent heat. As we all know that outside hot air gets mixed with water, water evaporates, and for this evaporation, the heat is taken from the air and it liberates humidity, and for every 1 degree Celsius cooling, the relative humidity which is discharged is 4.5% in the house. The energy required to evaporate 1 liter of water at 100 degrees Celsius needs 2,142 BTU heat. How big can I make the EC house? The ideal house length should not exceed 100 to 120 meters, and with the negative pressure ventilation system, as we do it in India with tunnel ventilation, the ideal ratio is 1:10. The side width can be minimum 10 meters, it can go maximum up to 15 meters, and shed height should be as less as possible to improve the airspeed, which is 2.4 meters. If you have automation like bird catching and manure removal, then with the bobcat, the minimum height can go up to 2.7 meter or 9 feet. Concept of environmental controlled housing in India, negative pressure ventilation system, this is what we operate, and it has got 3 modes: minimum ventilation, transitional ventilation, and tunnel ventilation. If you look at minimum ventilation, this is mainly for the young chicks during the night time and for the winter. Wherever there is extreme winter, we need this. This type of ventilation is time driven and not temperature driven. Minimum ventilation is completely closed houses, draws air through side air inlets of around 2 feet by 1 feet or 2 square feet, you can say, and the air is extracted through 36-inch fans. This will ensure mixing of incoming air mixed with warm air above the birds rather than directly, you can say, hitting the draught. Minimum ventilation in EC house with side curtains can be also operated with 1 tunnel fan and cross curtain configuration. We can manage minimum air exchange through curtain configuration by avoiding the direct draught of air on the birds. So you can see here, for 50 gram chicks with a CFM per bird of 0.043, with 13,907 birds, the CFM is 598. So if you have a cycle of minimum ventilation with 300-second cycle, it will be 9 minutes on, and it will be 9 seconds on and 291 seconds off. Similarly for 200 grams and thereon. If you look at the transitional ventilation, this is normally used when the ventilation requirement goes above minimum ventilation, and when there is a outside temperature is plus minus 6 degree than the target temperature inside the house. Transitional ventilation is normally used in the cold weather situations. Transition ventilation is used. Transition ventilation is temperature and static pressure driven. Commercial broiler house operates and maintains static pressure of 0.05 to 0.1 inches or 12 to 25 pascals. Then tunnel ventilation and air exchange rate. Tunnel ventilation is used when the weather is hot or warmer. It is only used for, you can say, for increasing the air velocity and bringing the wind chill effect. The wind chill effect with the higher air velocity allows bird to feel a temperature lower than actually recorded by the temperatures. Air speed of 3 to 3.75 meter per second. Air exchange 45 to 60 seconds. It can go even 30 seconds or 2 cycles in case if it is very humid. Air volume of 10 to 11 CFM per square feet is the standard, but you can, in Indian context, I can say that we go also up to 15 CFM where the temperatures are very high. This is a question normally asked, can EC house reduce temperature to any levels? Evaporative cooling, this is an example where you can say that EC housing can only take care of 75% of reduction is possible, because the cooling pads, manufacturing companies, they give efficiency of 75%, 80%, not beyond that. For example, if it is a hot and dry area or location, outside dry bulb, if it is 45 degrees Celsius, wet bulb, if it is 24 degrees Celsius, the difference is 21, 75% of 21 is 15.7. So inside temperature can be brought down from 45 minus 15.7, that is 29.3. If you want to bring the temperature below this, maybe we can use some louvers on the cooling pads, or we can use some baffles inside the shed, but it will not be significantly lower. What are the project cost comparison between open house versus EC house, including land cost? So I have compared open house, which has got steel infrastructure, cement sheets and mud flooring, 5,000 birds capacity shed, 2 sheds, 10,000 capacity, a typical integration sheds with a maximum capacity of 5,000 birds, 250 feet by 25 feet. And if you look into this, the project cost without land will come to 278.6. And project with land cost, considering 20 lakhs per acre, will come to 425.87. And similarly for the EC house with bubble aluminium wrap, it comes to 700 and 760 with land, and so on for rock wool and for the puff insulation. This is the shed I have considered for comparison with EC house. This is a typical EC house, what we have. Now, comparison for open-sided and EC house, including land cost, if you look at, with the standard GC in the market, what the integrators they give is 7 rupees 50 paisa. Actual GC, what a farmer gets for his 5 to 6 batches, if you look at all the farm records, it is around 6 rupees 50 paisa. With average CFCR for 12 months of 1.75, it takes 14.6 years for open shed, which includes the land costs also, and 7.2 years for the EC house. So open broiler house, including land cost, takes almost 1.6 to 2 times more than for the ROI. If you do it without land cost, your ROI after interest, which comes to 6.3 for the open-sided houses and 6.3 also for EC house. That means EC broiler house, excluding land cost, takes almost similar or 1.5 years more than open house, depending on the location. If it is extreme, like if you go to north, where you have humid, cold winter, then maybe we may have to go for puff panels. The project cost will go a little higher. EC house versus open house performance. So I have compared this because everybody has a question. When you go for an EC house, the power cost is going to go very high. Electricity is very high. We have to make use of fuel and power. The cost is very high. So I tried to compare open house versus EC house, and I have compared it during summer when the power consumption is higher. Considering North Haryana with highest power cost of rupees 8 per unit, considering power cut of 8 hours per day, if you look at the growing expense, it comes to, in EC house, it comes to around 7 rupees 23 paisa as a expense. This is per kg, and the total income what a farmer gets is 12 rupees 27 paisa, and net profit he gets is 5 rupees 4 paisa. And in case of open house, we can see that the cost comes to 5.15 and 722 for the income, and net income goes to 2.07. The performance overcomes the higher power and fuel cost to operate EC house with increase in net profits. Here I have considered in EC house, open house, I have considered CFCR I have considered 1.85, average body weight of 1.75, because I am talking about Haryana. This is the average data in the peak summer of that area, and for EC house, I have compared 2.3 kg body weight with 1.54. I have records of Jaffa and Premium and many companies who are even getting up to 1.38, 1.4 during summer in the chick placements. So with this kind of comparisons, you can see that the performance overcomes the high power and fuel cost to operate EC house with increase in net profits. Now, I have tried even to cover up some more areas like UP, Haryana, Assam, and Karnataka. On the top, I have compared the winter costing, which has got CFCR of 1.54 for EC house. For other, you can say, normal open houses, it is 1.65 I have considered. Average body weight during winter, I have considered 2.3. Those are the average body weights which I have taken. And farmer expenses, income, and net profits. You can see almost 2 times more benefit you can get on net profit when you go on EC housing. In the summer, you can say that the benefits what you get is almost up to 2.2. So what I'm trying to conclude is benefits of EC housing, farmer broiler housing capacity increases by 1.6 times, farmer net profit per kg broiler sold is almost doubled with improvement in performance, consistent performance for all 6 batches with less stress, better health, and low mortalities, improves the biosecurity of the farms. With the increase of average farm sizes in broiler integration, it is always advisable to go for EC housing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Hello. Thank you very much, sir, for the points well covered. And now we move over for a brief presentation on import of soybean seeds and processing aid, its advantages, by Dr. Sushil Silva. May I request Dr. Sushil Silva to come to the dais? And I request Mr. Manjesh Kumar Jadhav, sir, to come onto the dais and honor Dr. Sushil Silva with a bouquet. Dr. Tejashree, please. Dr. Sushil Silva is a veterinarian from University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka, and a doctorate with the University of Newcastle, UK in 1997. And ever since he is associated with the poultry in Sri Lanka and the Indian subcontinent. He has served as director.
Right, thank you.
He has served as Director, Veterinary Research Institute, Sri Lanka, Director, Livestock Planning, Additional Director General, Department of Animal Production and Health, Member, Sri Lanka Council for Agriculture Research Policy and National Feed Advisory Committee, President, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, President, World Poultry Science Association, Sri Lanka branch, to name a few. He carries a vast experience with him in academia, policy making, and impacts analysis and advice, a glimpse of which we are waiting to benefit from. Sir, over to you for the next 10 minutes, sir. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you very much for that long introduction. Let me first thank Professor Devi Gowda and his executive committee for inviting me and United States Soybean Export Council for this important event. I feel honored. You know, Professor Gowda, Dev Gowda, decided the topic as well. He used his wisdom to decide the topic. When it is coming from somebody of his caliber, I didn't have a choice, I obliged. I thank you very much. Can I have the controls? Importation of soybean meal or soybeans for crushing. So it is the very challenging questions for the region and India as well. Right, soybean meal is the most widely used protein meal in the world, and for many reasons, and that is by far the best protein meal as well. It contains a lot of protein and rich with all the essential amino acids. And if you look at the essential amino acids in soybean meal, it is compared with the ideal amino acid balance that is required for poultry. And apart from this essential amino acid, it also contains fairly high amount of energy, which is very important. And it is also rich in many other nutrients. So if it is processed properly, I say properly, that is very palatable and digestible material as well. The conundrum that we have is whether to go for importation of soybean or soybean meal or soybeans and do crushing here. Let's look at the composition of soybean and what are the key components of that. The oil, which is about 20% of the soybean, is probably the most expensive component. And we have proteins, which is about 37%, which is equally important as well. Oil is important because it is expensive. It mainly goes as a food for humans. I think what we use is a byproduct of cooking oil industry. And also, there is a growing demand for this soybean oil to produce biodiesel in developed parts of the world. This is one of the key factors which will determine our choice, because biodiesel production means the value of soya oil will be higher and the value of soybean meal will come down. And then we have proteins, which is used for both for humans as well as for animals. Then we have hull, which we don't want to import, but that is there as well. That doesn't have much nutrients. Why do we need to process soybean meals? I think something that we all know. It contains a lot of anti-nutritional factors, mainly trypsin and chymotrypsin inhibitors. Because of that, the protein availability, amino acid availability is impaired. And there are quite a lot of other anti-nutritional factors as well. But good thing about that is we can deactivate most of these compounds because they are highly heat labile. But you need to apply heat treatment, that is, you need to apply proper heat treatment. Temperature is important, length of temperature exposure is important, moisture content, particle size, amount of physical damage imposed during the process, and cooling, drying, and technology what we use, and knowledge is very important. If we are going to do crushing here, all these factors will come into play. If you look at the soybean crushing, there are two processes mainly widely used in the world. One is solvent extracted. Solvent extraction is done by nonpolar solvents. Mostly used nonpolar solvent is hexane, which is very hazardous substance, and this process is extremely expensive as well. But it is quite efficient. You can go for the last drop of oil, you can extract. And then easier method is expeller. You press press and soybean meal and get the oil out of that. Whatever the coming out as crude oil, either the refined for human consumption and go for any other purposes as we discussed. Then the leftover, which is the oil cake, is heat treated to use in livestock. There are some processing methods: cooking, boiling, autoclaving, the roasting, steaming. There are various ways of applying heat treatment. But what I'm quite interested in talking about today is extrusion, which is very important if we think about importing seed and process here in India or in our region. But when we are applying heat, the ultimate objective is not necessarily killing all the anti-nutritional factors. You need to preserve all important nutrients as well. It's a delicate process. If you apply heat, you can definitely destroy your anti-nutritional factors. More you apply, you have better chance of destroying that. But same time, if you apply heat for long period of time and high heat, there are reactions which will make the nutrients, especially amino acid, less available. So you got to be very careful where do you have the balance. Extrusion. Literally, it's a very, simply, extrusion is pushing large amount of volumes, either whole seeds or broken seeds, through a small barrel that generate heat, pressure, and breaking down. That makes, because of the temperature and all the pressure, product is cooked, all the anti-nutritional factors will be deactivated, and it ruptures the oil cells and release oil, which makes oil far more digestible. And one of the options poultry industry have is to go for that. Extrusion, then what you have is full-fed soybean meal. So advantage of that is, because of the high oil content, you can use that as an energy source as well. You have protein plus energy. And when you have oil embedded in the ingredients, your mixing is going to be easier. You don't need to add oil separately, and that can create issues as well. When you mix in the mixer, you may need post-pelleting liquid application and serious other stuff, but if you go for full-fed soya, most important component in this, which is oil, has to be given to animals. But you can diversify your options by extrusion and expelling. You have the extruded products, then you mechanically press and get some oil out. And that can be either refined or used in. Other important thing is, by doing that, you can cater the demand of the industries. The producer can decide the amount of oil that you want to leave. Depending on the circumstances and the demand, you can leave either entire 19% of oil there, 13, 12, 8 or 3%, whatever matters for the industry. So if you do that, you come up with the nutrient matrix with the increasing energy and decreasing protein. So I think nutritionists would love that. Factors determining decision whether to import soybeans or soybean meal: price of soybean versus soybean meal. Price of soybean is always higher than soybean meal, with biodiesel into play, so that gap will be widening. And then the investment, taxes, transport costs, the quality, technology what we have, country requirements, other ingredient choices, especially cereals. I heard in one of the last meetings that India used a lot of broken rice now, And if you use broken rice to match energy, you can use one of those oil mills, I guess. And just if you have a choice to go for a soybean meal importation, then you have choices as well. Most of these soybeans and soybean meals are coming from either US, Argentina, or Brazil. They are the largest exporters. And if you compare these, you just don't look at, if you go for a soybean meal, we don't just look at the protein value, but look at the entire nutrient matrix, especially digestible amino acids, critical digestible amino acids. You have, the choices there. And then, the energy, we use 25% to 30% soybean meal, poultry meal. Because of that, energy is very significant. Right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Silva, sir, for the thought-provoking presentation. Now, let us take a small pause from the continuous technical presentations. IVPI has a tradition of identifying and honoring the veterinarians who serve relentlessly the Indian poultry industry and whose contributions make an impact on the industry. I now request Dr. Gopal Reddy to take over and conduct the IVPI's Lifetime Achievement Award program. Sir, please come over to the dais. Dr. Gopal Reddy, sir, please come to the dais.
Good evening. It's a privilege and honor to do this part of the program, and also an emotional moment for me because this year's awardee is an icon, was my teacher, a role model for compassion and sense of service. He is a self-made man. When we informed him about the award, he said, "Whatever I have achieved is because farmers who taught me." Despite being a teacher, he said this, a testimony to his humility. All my contemporaries and peers have positively impacted and inspired by him. Ladies and gentlemen, for a tall leader like this, who made this world a better place with his contribution, requesting for a round of applause from you is an understatement. I request a standing ovation for Professor Dr. R.N. Srinivas Gowda. It's a great pleasure and honor to all of us to present you with the prestigious IVPA's Lifetime Achievement Award 2022. You have been with us since the inception of IVPI in early 90s. You born in 1943 at Kolar, Karnataka to Sri Narayana Gowda and Srimati Lakshmamma. You graduated from the Mysore Veterinary College, Bangalore in 1967. You then earned master's and doctoral degree specializing in veterinary pathology from Veterinary College, University of Agricultural Sciences, Bengaluru. You were a scholarship holder throughout your studies from high school to doctoral degree and recipient of ICAR fellowship and gold medals. As master's degree student, you have published a research paper entitled Muzzle Leucosis, which later named it as cutaneous form of Marek's disease in 1969. You started your career in Veterinary College, Bangalore as instructor in parasitology. Besides teaching, you designed shuttling program for coccidiosis control for poultry, and you also identified a new coccidial species in a panther cub from Bannerghatta National Park, which received the accolades from many researchers from around the globe. You worked as poultry pathologist in AICRP and eradicated leukosis complex completely from flocks using blockchain design and assisted in development of disease-resistant poultry strains for rural people. Then you joined as assistant professor of pathology and assumed professor and head of the department. As teacher in pathology, you are not only academician, researcher, and extension worker, but you have helped both students and farmers. You are a teacher par excellence, admired by all. You are also the advisor for master's and doctoral studies for more than 40 scholars of state, other states, and also overseas students. Besides this, you are sought after for diagnosis of poultry ailments and participated in over 750 poultry seminars, training programs, educating the farmers in management, biosecurity, and disease control in the state, India, and traveled extensively around the world. You have published 225 research articles in peer scientific journals in India, abroad, and 250 popular articles in poultry journals. Your contribution in identifying hydropericardium syndrome, commonly known as lychee, an emerging disease for the first time in the country, and developed technology for auto vaccine, which saved millions of poultry birds in the country. You also developed methods of diagnosis of avian leukosis complex, identifying defective chromosomes, identifying links with immunosuppression and gangrenous dermatitis, and inclusion body hepatitis, chicken anemia, toxicities, metabolic disorders are your other contributions. Later, adorned position as Director of Institute of Animal Health and Veterinary Biologicals, commonly known as IAH and VB. Besides modernizing the institute, you are responsible to develop tissue culture vaccine for rabies in animals and monkey fever vaccine for humans. You are also instrumental in developing fowl cholera vaccine for poultry. After retirement from IAH and VB, the Government of India granted a project for sustainable development of rural poultry, and based on your project report, the Government of India sanctioned 850 crores of rupees for transforming lives by empowering rural communities. During these years, you worked tirelessly to develop poultry diseases diagnostic laboratories for the benefit of poultry farmers. You traveled extensively all over India for solving disease challenges. In all these works, you are highly admired by poultry producers, entrepreneurs, veterinarians, scientists across the country. You have been an ardent advocate of modern scientific poultry production in the country. Recognizing your outstanding contributions in the field of veterinary and poultry science, the Government of Karnataka appointed you as first Vice Chancellor of newly formed KVA FSU, Karnataka Veterinary, Animal and Fisheries Sciences University. As Vice Chancellor, you laid a strong educational foundation for veterinary education in the state, establishing 3 new veterinary colleges, 1 dairy science college, Institute of Wildlife Medicine at Coorg, and Fish Disease Identification Laboratory at Karwar. Accomplishments is a long list. You are a member of more than 15 scientific societies, and you are nominated Fellow of Indian Veterinary Pathologist, Diplomat of Indian College of Veterinary Pathology, Fellow of National Academy of Veterinary Sciences, Fellow of Indian Poultry Science Association, Fellow of Indian Health Professionals, Fellow of Indian Poultry Journalists Association. You are also recipient of more than 22 awards, including CLEFMA Award, Best Veterinarian Award, and several lifetime awards. These apart, you are General Secretary of Indian Veterinary Pathologists Association for more than a decade and later took over as President of IAVP. You are also shared the responsibility to run this association, our IVPI, as President. During pandemic, when the world came to a standstill, you wrote a book on poultry biosecurity, which is a testimony to your philosophy and mantra, learning is a continuous process. You are happily married to Srimati Saroja and blessed with 3 daughters, Dr. Vijaya, Archana, and Chetana, and familial with grandson Mr. Aditya and granddaughter Miss Shreya. Now, I request the following dignitaries to come on the dais to felicitate Professor Dr. H.C. Chin, please. A renowned poultry consultant, Dr. B. Sushant Rai, President KPFBA, Dr. Ajay Deshpande, President VIP, Sri M.R.I. Magdum Sir, Venkateshwara Hatcheries, Dr. Raghavendra Bhatt, Director NINP, Dr. Captain Rajendra, IAS, Dr. Vijay Makhija, President INFA. I request Dr. Chin to garland Professor, please. Dr. B. Sushant Rai with PETA, please. Dr. Ajay Deshpande with shawl. Sri M.R.I. Magdum Sir with bouquet, please. Dr. Raghavendra Bhatta with fruit bowl. Beg. Captain Rajendra with plaque. Dr. Vijay Makhija with the citation. I also request our President Professor G. Devagowda Sir to come on the dais and be part of this celebration, please. Madam, next time, madalla, idu flow ide iru. Idu photo ella family Next. Thank you all. Thank you all the dignitaries. Now I request Professor on how he feels today.
Friends, good evening to everyone who is present here. The President IVPA and his team, speakers of the day, veterinarians serving in the poultry industry, poultry farmers, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I never wanted it because it is of no use for me now. Of course, it's a really you are great that you are recognized. Of course, it is our organization. We have served in this organization. We have brought up since 90s, and today what we are seeing, the same IVPI. It's a pleasure to witness the beautiful moment in this presence of all of you. And it's a great honor for me to receive this award. I am grateful to everyone who always been a part of my journey, from my family to friends, from my seniors to my colleagues, and everyone. I am happy for all the encouragement and support given by my parents, my primary teachers, my secondary school teachers, my high school teachers, and the college teachers also. I thank all the poultry farmers, hatchery owners, feed factories, equipment and vaccine manufacturers, pharma companies, and poultry press who have enabled me to bring the ideas into reality. My strength always increased on dealing with challenges and overcoming them, because throughout my diagnosis I had challenges, and then I also learned. I am grateful to my farmers because of farmers only I have learned all these techniques of diagnosis and other things, because teaching is only just a part of it, but experience that makes a big way therefore I owe this award to the farmers only, not to me. I received love and affection of all of the poultry farmers during my long career. I am deeply indebted to all the farmers who showed their profuse affection. Therefore, I really owe once again this award to the farmers only. Well, let me take this opportunity to extend my thanks to award committee, jury, for having generosity in nominating me, Dr. Devegoda, Dr. Nagbhushan, Dr. Gopal Reddy, Dr. Arsh Kumar. Many of them are my students, are my colleagues, are my friends. This is how I thank all of you in this pleasant evening and wish you a happy Independence Day of glorious 75 years tomorrow. So now, I have to remember my people, that means who taught me all these things. The great Dr. B.V. Rao, Padma Shri B.V. Rao, invited me on many occasions, and we had a very good relationship with him. And with him, there were so many peoples. Sheshaya Garu, to say, Vishwanath Dubey, Nandakumar, Jagpati Rao, Sundar Raidu, Sudhir, Dr. Samad, Dr. Samal, Dr. Survanshi, who is no more, Dr. R.G. Patil, Dr. Kolte, Mr. Sheikh Imam, and Singh Poultry of Harbans Singh. I think these are all my contemporaries. All these people are my contemporaries. And these people, they used to invite me for many occasions for their problems. Whenever I went to solve the problems, I learned a thing. I learned a lot from them. So good human beings who taught me all this. That's why I'm here today to occupy that several positions in the government as well as in our university. I thank you once again. I thank you all for having given me this opportunity to talk to you also and giving your blessings on me. Thank you very much. Okay.
Many congratulations, Professor Srinivas Gowda, sir. And now, we once again come back to our technical presentations, technical interactions. I'm pleased to invite Shri Singaraj, sir, to present his hard-earned understanding of egg marketing, challenges and solutions for the benefit of the gathering. Singaraj, sir, welcome to the dais. And I request Dr. Suresh Kumar to honor Singaraj, sir, with a bouquet. Dr. Pooja, please. Sir, 1 second. Singaraj, sir, is a well-known name in the poultry industry. Starting as a layer farmer, Mr. Singaraj has adopted technical advancements and cooperative strategies into poultry entrepreneurship. Apart from being the owner of reputed Panni Feeds in Namakkal, Mr. Singaraj was a visionary to start a farmers' cooperative feed, medicine and equipment distribution system by name Purani Animal Agromed in Namakkal, wherein products of all companies were made available at least margin for the benefit of farmers with proper supplies. By virtue of his business acumen and leadership traits, Singaraj sir has been leading the farmers as president of Tamil Nadu Poultry Farmers Association as well as Poultry Products Export Association. Now, requesting Singaraj sir to take over. Sir, please, and humbly suggest that your maximum time limit is about 15 to 20 minutes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir. I am purely poultry farmer and also feed manufacturer and breeder operation. I am not a doctor. I share with my 40 years experience in egg marketing and how to earn the profit for egg marketing. That's why we discuss with you. First of all, I thank Padmasari late Dr. B.V. Rao for his contribution to the poultry industry. Change one egg production, per capita egg consumption, challenges in marketing, exports. India ranks third in egg production and eighth in meat production. State-wise layer beds set capacity, actual beds and expansion in progress. Tamil Nadu is number one in India. Almost 7.26 crores set capacity, actual bed 7.17, expansion now 61 lakhs. Andhra Pradesh 4.92 crores, existing 4.86 and expansion 22 lakhs. Telangana, Haryana, but here almost all states are expenses going on. But generally, earlier, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana, these states, Karnataka, these states are production center. All other states, maximum we have consumption center. Earlier, 20 years back, Tamil Nadu farmers are sending eggs to all, even northeast, Delhi, UP, Madhya Pradesh, these areas we are sending. Now that all the states are production center. That is the main point. We are already number of eggs produced across the from 2010 to 2020, 21 is an estimated figures. Almost 2010, 60 billion eggs, 60.3. Now 21, nearly we are 122 billion eggs. Almost last 10, 12 years, we have crossed double the production. The same time, per capita consumption, it will take 2005, 39, and 2020, 21, it will reach 87 eggs. Eggs, after which only 68 eggs are from commercial layer farm, and other rest of all from desi and ducks, etc. Per capita consumption.
Tier 2 cities increase panna.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Sir, per capita consumption variability in distribution. This is the main point, sir. Tier 1 city about 200 eggs per year consumption, per capita consumption. Tier 2 city 50 to 75 eggs per year. In rural sector, where 60% of our population living in rural areas, only consumption 5 to 15 eggs consumed per year. But Coke and Pepsi are freely available. In particular, in Namakkal, majority of the eggs are marketed by the farmers directly. Other than the traders play, other states where traders play major role. 6 crores eggs are produced daily. We are able to market in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Pondicherry. Even if it is not initially economical for farmers to serve small centers, the built a market for eggs and became profitable later on. Traders do not use these procedures. For example, Namakkal farmers, 80% of the farmers, they are doing directly in the Kerala, Pondicherry, Tamil Nadu. But every nook and corner they are selling. That's why you calculate as 6 crore eggs we are producing daily. And population and Tamil Nadu and Kerala, Pondicherry, nearly almost 11 to 12 crores. You calculate nearly 200 eggs per capita consumption per year. But compared to other states, very less. Reasons are producer directly marketing means they never bother about the profit. Trader concentrate only Tier 1 city. The Tier 1 city, the volume is more. Same time, they easily market every day. They are doing 1 or 2 trucks, easily making money. But the rural sector, it is very difficult. Rural sector means they are selling only 100 eggs, 1,000 eggs. That is the main point. So every farmer they are doing direct market is definitely needs, sir. Even big farmers should have at least one or two their own store selling at NECC rates at consumption centers, and they should provide eggs in mini autos to vegetable vendors and grand stores so that they are available in every shop. Tamil Nadu successfully employs this model. I am also having the two retail shops last 20 years, sir. One is Inaugural, another one is Trichy. Apart from that, I produce daily not less than 8-9 lakhs eggs. We are completely, totally direct marketing to the entire Kerala state and Tamil Nadu. Apart from that, we speaking with doctors and persuading them of the advantage of eggs, particularly the yellow eggs for health. During the Corona period, majority all doctors are recommended the eating egg habit. That time, every person maximum they are eating daily 2 to 3 eggs. That time, very good demand in egg. Once their eating habit is increased, automatically the person will eat every day the egg. Like some people in Tasmak, once they adopt the Tasmak, they also every day they go and consume the liquor. Increasing the demand for culprits by hosting culprit biryani festivals in different centers in all states. Last one month back, I arranged one meeting, farmers get-together meeting. That meeting, not less than 600 farmers, and Karnataka, Mysore, and Andhra Pradesh, next people also they participate that function. That time I prepare only the culprits biryani. Biryani is excellent taste and taste-wise excellent. So we encourage the culprits biryani. Last 3 months, we start this Sika along with Mr. Sadish Babu started this, join with Sadish Babu, Mysore next chairman. Now the recent 3 months, last 3 months, we get not less than 80 rupees per kg. Even the broiler birds are 50 rupees that time, last 10 days back also, that culprits price not less than 80 rupees. So now promote the culprits, definitely it will cross, always we are getting per kg 100 rupees, not less than 100 rupees, sir. Feed raw materials. In the past 5 years, the production of maize is in the range of 28 to 30 million metric ton. Chicago red corn 19 rupees per kg. Indian corn is 25 rupees. At present, I think 26, 27 rupees. Soybean meal is in range of 7 to 8 million metric ton produced per year. Chicago soybean meal 34 kg, Indian soybean meal 58 to 60 rupees. The industry is growing 8 to 10%, whereas egg consumption is increasing by almost nearly 5 to 6% only. Egg export details. In 2017, 27.87 crores, 2018 26.26, 19 17.38, 20 9.59, 21 slightly improved 17.25 lakh, 22 37.4 crores up to June. Sir, because, no, sir, please, sir. This, why the June up to 22, it will cross 37 crores means that time egg rate was very low. The same time, the Zoom meeting, Madam Anudada Desai, we approached her. Please giving subsidy. Immediately, they ask, Singraj, you want whatever you want, please ask me. You give, I am giving, ready to give subsidy. Maximum quantity you are sent to abroad. Then only vacuum created. After that, automatically domestic market also increase. So that time I asked the madam, immediately sanction 2 crores. Within afternoon, discuss with madam. Evening, send a letter to association. That time, that is the reason for 37.4 crores exported. So this time, thank to madam. Apart from exports, 36 to 38 lakh eggs are broken by per day for egg powder plants. Sir, highly fluctuating rates, sir. We should implement a differential rate system in which farmers sell 10% their production at special rates for exports round the year. This way, we can get a better price for rest of 90% of the eggs and avoid the price fluctuation. Better prices throughout the year would also assist farmers and exporters will be able to supply international buyers on a regular basis. Sir, we confirm the order at rupees 4 rupees or 420. Suppose the egg price will increase for 455 rupees, we are not fulfilled the orders. Or we gap between the buyer and seller. This time high fluctuation means every month we are facing that problems. That's why I am telling we fix the special price for export eggs. Producer give, the farmers give 10% of the eggs in export price. Definitely rest of the 90% of the eggs will get better price. Then this is the next before.
Next one, next one.
No. Sir, 1 point, sir, please, sir, please. Sir, disease-free compartment specification, sir. Government agencies should have a standard compartment policy in accordance with the World Organization of Animal Health that is followed throughout the country. Exporters will be able to reach additional markets with their products thanks to this. The current Indian compartment standards are not compatible with WH and are challenging to apply to Indian circumstances. To simplify the Indian guidelines, then only getting the compartment license, we easily export number of containers to other countries. Sir, finally, conclusion, sir. Producers should market their eggs. All poultry farmers should participate in egg marketing. By 25, it is planned to increase the average egg consumption in rural region to 100 eggs. Rural distribution should be concentrated egg booth similar to milk booths can be established at the rural areas. The same time, packing of eggs to be made consumer friendly, promoting consumption of culprits. But anyways, all farmers that have own markets, definitely it will create good consumption, sir. Good consumption, farmers get better price. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Singraj sir, for that enlightening presentation. And now we move over to the last presentation of the series. May I invite Dr. Sanjay Gaonkare over to the dais to present the topic, Hatchery Vaccination, Catching the Future. Dr. Sanjay sir, please welcome. I request Dr. P.S. Mahesh onto the dais to present Dr. Sanjay sir with a bouquet. Dr. Pooja, please. Sorry, Dr. Tejshri, please. Dr. Sanjay Gaonkare is a veterinarian with specialization in microbiology, thoroughly associated with poultry from the beginning of his career, spanning over the past 30 plus years. And for the past 28 plus years, he has been in the vaccine division only for R&D, and currently he is the GM of Veterinary Biologicals Vaccines Division. Member of several expert committees and expert working groups set up by the Government of India and various professional organizations. Dr. Gaonkare is an authority on status and advancements in vaccine development and applications. It's a privilege for us to have him here and hear him here. Sir, over to you, please. And the mic is yours, sir, for the next 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to you all. Respected teachers, honorable stakeholders, industry leaders, my senior colleagues, professionals, and friends. It's my privilege to be here in front of you to discuss the topic when our industry is going to in the consolidating phase. That is in all components of the industry, that is in terms of the genetics, in terms of the management, nutrition, as well as the disease prevention. And the topic has been chosen to have a hatchery vaccination which suits to this theme. Every life on this earth has to struggle for its existence. And during this path, it has to face several challenges which has life-threatening events. So it has to overcome all these challenges, and it needs a solid defense system and defense mechanism. Either it has to be inherited or it is to be acquired, or a combination of both. When it comes to the poultry, one of such life-threatening challenge is to exposure to the virulent pathogens and succumb to the disease. So it gives immense economic losses, mortality, as well as it deviates the bird from to exploit its genetic potential and the environmental contamination also. But we have no worry on that also. We have a good defense tool as a vaccine to combat such diseases. when a chicks to be placed into the field, which is a less than 3 days of eggs, it is to be exposed to the various pathogens. And we know the immune system requires at least 6-7 days to mount its immune response, and further several days. So bird has to be sensitized to such pathogens before it is to be placed into the field. So where the hatchery vaccination plays important role. So bird, like it is athlete, the athlete need to have some training of that game before it goes to the play field. Unless and until it has a training, it cannot withstand to the play field and exert its best possible. So the hatchery vaccination does the same way. So it sensitizes the chick, it preconditions the chick to have environmental challenges and to fight against the diseases. So thus the real topic comes. Something wrong. So when you go for the hatchery vaccination history, it is long now, almost 60 years has been lapsed. So first vaccine has been introduced as a hatchery vaccination at day 1 is a HBT, SB1 cell associated vaccine. And almost it took a decade to have in vivo vaccination. And we are celebrating the 75th independence anniversary, and the man behind this in vivo vaccination is Dr. Jagdev Sharma, who is Indian. So such scientific advancement also contributed by Indian, and it is a time to recognize him at this 75th Independence Day also. But it took again more time to penetrate this technology into the Western world also. And it is still away from our conditions. So in vivo is not practiced here in India, but right now some few people have been trying, but it will take time. So when it comes to the hatchery vaccination, automated subcutaneous vaccination, which is given at day 1, spray vaccination, and then comes to the in vivo vaccination. The in vivo vaccination is mainly for the broiler industry, whereas the spray vaccination and the subcutaneous vaccination can be given to the layer bird also. So why it is important? What are the reasons to have such popularization of this hatchery vaccination? So it is a precise and uniform distribution of the vaccine. It is a mass vaccination within an individual. So as good as the precision vaccine has been given to the bird's body or pre-hatched embryo, and we can ensure that vaccine is going in a targeted organ and with a precise manner. So it reduces the stress of the handling, because right now there is a paucity of the trained manpower, committed manpower. So this also is taken care of. Then high output automated machines are available, equipments are available. With that we can ensure that the vaccine is going in the right way and right quantity. And it induces the early immune response, as the immune developing cells or immune system development is developing, and at that stage we are introducing the vaccine there. So in a nutshell, you look at the early embryonic days, till hatch, that is the 18th day of the embryo life, the 21 days is the hatch period. Before that, the thymus as well as the bursal development is to be happen. And during that period, if the vaccine is to be given, the more B cells activation, more T cells activation, which is required for the best immune response, the bird is get sensitized to these immune systems. More proliferation of the lymphocyte is being done. The more macrophages come into the existence, and they will fight back in a best fashion, moderate way. What should be the ideal characteristic of the hatchery vaccine? It should be safe. It should not be too much virulent, because we are giving it at the early age of life. As I mentioned, it is well proven that when the vaccine is given into the immediate to the hatch or pre-hatch period, the both immune response, innate immune response that is acquired, that is inherited immune response, as well as the acquired by the vaccinal response is much more competent. The macrophages get matured, the lymphocyte proliferates in a more stronger way, and the response, immune response is much more stronger than the conventional response. And definitely we can combine the 2 different or 3 different vaccine at the same point, at the same injection at the hatchery itself. It is a more controlled vaccination than the field vaccination. So what are the ups and downs of this in vivo vaccination? When it comes to the in vivo vaccine, because it is the technology which is to be coming in few years in India, and it has already come into the Western world. As I mentioned, it reduces to the young chicks, stress of the young chicks, early development of immunity, removes error of the vaccination, saves time and less labor intensive, and easy to integrate with other components of the hatchery itself. So we can stack the trays, candling can be done on the same manner. So it can be very well integrated at the hatchery itself. But what are the downs? What are the drawbacks of this technology? It is too expensive at this place. The equipment itself is too expensive. It requires a typical proper care of the equipment and the trained manpower or trained technician. So requires skilled operators. Not all the important chicken diseases has to be in vivo vaccine. It cannot be given, it should not be a magic bullet, or it will not be a magic bullet to have all vaccination at the hatchery. Certain vaccines to be given at the field level only. So we cannot combine too many vaccines at the hatchery. Might not be economy physical for a small hatcheries. And most importantly, when something goes wrong with the equipment or operator, rather than having advantages, it has more disadvantages. So as I mentioned, what is in nutshell, both the immune system, that is the B cell triggered immune system or T cell triggered immune system, as well as the inherited immune system, get more activated when it is exposed to the early chick life or pre-hatch life. So we can reduce actually the first part of the antibody production will showing so half of the antibody production already it has started when the bird is get hatched or up to the 3 days of the life. If we give the conventional vaccine at the 3 days of the life, it will take another 3-4 days to elicit the immune response. Before that, already antibodies production as well as the cell-mediated immune response is triggered and the bird is get protected. So it saves the time to have a better protection. So some of the important achievements or innovation has been done with respect to the hatchery vaccination. One of that, the immune complex vaccine. See, as we know, the entire flock, given flock of the hatching, doesn't have a common maternal or same level of the maternal antibody level. Some chicks are the high maternal antibody level, some chicks are the moderate, and some chicks are the less MAB level. And if the live vaccine has been given to such chicks, they differs in the different immune response and differs into the protection. But some technology like the immune complex vaccine, where the antigen is protected with the antibody, so apart from whatever the level of the MAB level, the antigen is get stimulated, either it is in the late or stage or early stage, and the immune system triggers, immune response is triggered after winning the MAB level. So this is the typical immune complex vaccine mechanism. There are three scenarios: high maternal antibodies, moderate and low maternal antibodies. So immune response goes in a different manner, either at early stage of the cheeks, middle stage of the cheeks, or later part of the cheek. So these are some of the vaccinal errors has to be happened in hatchery vaccination, and particularly it is true with the in vivo vaccination. So there is a, if the vaccine goes, delivery goes into the extra embryonic part, it can have accidental injection to the different parts. So the response of the vaccine will not optimum. So it is very important to have intra-embryo deposition at the 18.5 to 19 days, that is 12 hours. If it is a less, it goes to the alveoli cavity, so we cannot get a maximum immune response. So it should be a precise timing of the in vivo vaccination, that is 18 days to 19 days, 18.5 to 19 days. And especially that is true when the different egg size is there, so the needle goes in a different position, and whatever the immune response is to be achieved will not happen. And if it is again, if it is too small eggs, then again has a problem. So it requires a typically uniform egg size to have a precise in vivo vaccination. Spray vaccination, this is one of the method at the hatchery vaccination, where the environmentally controlled houses can have such vaccination type, and where the mild vaccines can be given. Only mild vaccines are given at the hatchery, spray vaccination by the hatchery vaccination. Otherwise, it will have adverse effect on the respiratory tract. So the lentogenic, little bit high lentogenic vaccine like Lasota cannot be given with spray vaccination. And when it goes this way, if the quality of the chicks is poor, if there is a MS and MG infection is there, it definitely goes for the immune suppression level. It has to be very precise vaccination techniques for the spray vaccination. There should be a 50 to 80 micron size of the droplet size should be there. If it is high or low, it has adverse effect on the vaccination program. So thus it gives a different volume of the vaccine delivery. And if it is inactivated environmental or poor management, then it has a rolling infection. Cycle by cycle, the infection goes into the farm level. So this is a typical subcutaneous vaccine has to be adapted. The condition like India, where the live vaccine as well as the inactivated vaccine is given at a day 1 and 2. See, only we rely on the live vaccine at day 1 of age, which is a very weak antigenic nature, which is not sufficient in our conditions. So it's coupled and very well now it is been popular in India that both vaccines at the same time can be delivered to the chicks at day 1 of the age. And this is a procedure vaccine delivery, that is, it is mass vaccination of children. Errors in the subcutaneous vaccine, the needle goes to the neck or it is a blood vessel, so there will be some problem, and the quality of the chick is again deteriorated. So one has to take care. It should be have a proper training always to the vaccinators. So what are the limitations of these ones? So there are few products has been come as a recombinant vaccine. These are the safe vaccine as far as the Western world is concerned, because any recombinant vaccine is a weak antigenic vaccine. Though it is a safer vaccine, but the field conditions has to be suited to these conditions. In hot conditions like ours or tropical condition, it has to be coupled with the live vaccine always. Only recombinant vaccine cannot confer the full protection in conditions like in India or neighboring countries. Again, here is one drawback or variable species. Two recombinant vaccine with the same vector cannot be given at the hatchery at the same time, because it competes to the immune response again. So both HVT vector vaccine against the MD or IBD or ND cannot be given at the same time. Either it is to be HVT ND or HVT IBD. So these are some of the limitations. And only doing some experimentation, generating the data, looking into the efficacy, one has to adapt such technology in our conditions. So that's why we have to think globally but act locally. So whatever the condition suits to us, whatever the vaccine suits to us, whichever the management practices suits to us, we have to adapt that one. Just don't blindly follow the Western world, because Western world has a different class of the challenges. Some of the Western world cannot withstand Lassota vaccine at all. If the Lassota vaccine is given to some of the Western world, Newcastle disease outbreak will happen. This is not condition in our case. So one has to be very, very careful to choosing such vaccines. So low early challenges as literary change in biology, this is a plus point for our as compared to the Western world. It is not always that Western world has a very glorious thing. Western world, as far as the litter condition is concerned, we are far better than the Western world. Early culling by 35 to 20 days, so no Murex vaccine is required in broilers, and practically nobody is doing this one, because we have a live bird market. Eventually, if the dressing platform comes in a large way, then definitely we can think on this adaptation of this technology. Similarly, the Western world has a high challenge of the IB viruses. India doesn't have that much IB virus challenge early age of the life. So one has to look into such the vaccination, live vaccination. Unless and until we do this, we cannot confer a good protection over the ND, because this is the main challenge for our country. Very virulent IBD is again challenge to choosing a response. It is a serotype 4, serotype 11, 8A, 8B. So such things should be taken care of. And last but not least, and much more important, happy to announce that the government of India has accepted the industry demand, and they have principally agreed to go for the LPI vaccine. This is a future where we can very well combat the immunosuppression which is going on right now. It will save the industry, and in more precise manner, more with vigor, we can definitely come over with the field challenges. So it is very much needed that in future we should adapt the vaccine which is needed for our country and which is our vicinity in our field conditions. No need to have fancy strains always. Vaccination procedures should be in along with the inactivated vaccine. Only live vaccine cannot give a full protection in Indian condition. This is only for the disease. First 2 points are for the disease prevention, and the last but not least, the last part, that is we can explore the in vivo embryo feeding in future. We can feed prebiotic, symbiotic or betaine in the embryo level itself, so it can give a good nutritional value. Like the carbohydrates and probiotic can be given in the embryonic life. So adapting the hatchery vaccination at early embryonic life or just immediately the post-hatch and adapting the good nutrition solution at the embryonic part, definitely we can have a good control over the nutritional condition as well as the disease challenges. Thank you very much. Happy 75 Independence Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gaonkare sir, for the futuristic presentation. Now, as we are moving towards the closure of the program, I request Dr. Arvind, member of Executive Committee of IVPA, to propose the vote of thanks. Dr. Arvind, please.
Good evening to all of you. I hope you all enjoyed the deliberations, which are futuristic and sustainable. No event can be successful without the support of our sponsors. We are indebted to sponsors, Ventry Biologicals, Himalaya, Novus, USEC, Varsha Group, My Chicken and More, STR Poultry, Kemin, MSD Health, Zeus Biotech, Evonik, DSM, Natural Remedies, Lalamand, and Boehringer Ingelheim. I would like to heartily thank our poultry protein producers, scientists, policymakers, government officials, print and electronic media, veterinarians, and all other stakeholders. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Hilton Group for their cooperation and support. IVPA event is known mainly for futuristic topics and trends, and at the same time well known for its best audio, video, and ambience. The full credit for this goes to Dr. Yadunandan and Mr. Santosh of Apixel. I request Dr. Yadunandan to come on the dais, please. I request Mr. Abhilash Nair, MD of Zeus Biotech, to come on the dais to thank Dr. Yadunandan. Bani. I request Mr. Srivastava, Novus, to be on the dais, please, to congratulate Mr. Santosh. Thank you, Mr. Srivastava. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Arvind. Doctors, please. IVPA has a tradition of conducting its annual scientific program on a working day evening nearest to the Independence Day, so that we can go home feeling patriotic. And on this moment, leading to the 75th Independence Day, I request all of you to rise and sing our national anthem in unison. Please. Jai, Jai Hind. The scientific program has been concluded. I request all the guests to proceed to the networking dinner. And this is a call for all IVPA Executive Committee members to gather on the dais for a photograph. Thank you. A very good night.
for dinner.
Sir, 50% okay, sir?
No problem, no problem. See, basically, you have conveyed